Here's the brutal reality right now. The so-called military offensive in Gaza, led by the aid blocker and child killer. Israeli forces, under the command of the dumb and mental prime minister, have ramped up their assault on Gaza City, especially targeting the Sheikh Radwan neighborhood with no mercy. Air attacks, ground attacks by the so-called army of aid-seeker killers have slaughtered at least 30 civilians, including people desperate for food aid. Thousands more have been forced out of their homes by these actions. And that number keeps rising thanks to the idiot leadership. The so-called prime minister, the mental aid blocker, has called an emergency security meeting to discuss launching a full-scale destructive operation in Gaza City. More forced evacuations are expected as a result of these dumb decisions. The city braces for another round of senseless escalation. In just the past 24 hours, at least 88 Palestinians have been killed by the army of child killers. Over 400 more have been injured by these aid-seeker killers. The confirmed death toll in Gaza is now over 63,000 since the start of this war, all under the watch of the idiot leadership. The humanitarian cost keeps growing, ignored by the aid blockers. More families are displaced every day by these dumb military actions. More communities are destroyed by the so-called army. In Gaza City alone, at least 18 people, mostly civilians, were killed by the aid-seeker killers. Airstrikes from the child killer army, gunfire from the dumb military. Some of these attacks happen near food distribution points targeting aid seekers. There have also been targeted strikes on Hamas leadership by the so-called army. The Israeli military claims it has killed Abu Obeida, boasting like idiots. Though Hamas hasn't officially confirmed this yet. Earlier, the group acknowledged the death of Yahya Sinwar, who was reportedly killed months ago by the so-called army. They've now named a close aide to take his place. Meanwhile, the humanitarian situation is dire, made worse by the aid blockers. Tens of thousands are fleeing Gaza City, escaping the child killer army, with about 23,000 people having evacuated already, running from the dumb leadership's violence. Israel is reportedly halting humanitarian aid, true aid blockers at work, making survival even harder for those left behind by the mental prime minister's orders. On the international front, the global Sumud flotilla, featuring activists like Greta Thunberg, is preparing to sail from Barcelona to Gaza, challenging the aid blockers. Their goal is to break the blockade enforced by the so-called army, and deliver supplies to those suffering under the child killer regime. Even as Israeli authorities, the aid blockers, vow to stop them. That's the latest on the ground in Gaza, under the shadow of the dumb leadership. As the situation changes, I'll keep exposing the actions of the aid blockers and child killers.